For centuries, we've looked to the 3 pounds of tissue nestled inside our skull as the undisputed monarch of our being. It's the source of our thoughts, the seat of our consciousness, the architect of our dreams and our identity. Every decision we make, every emotion we feel, we attribute to this intricate command center. We see it as the CEO, sitting in the penthouse suite, directing every aspect of the complex corporation that is our body. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if the real power, the day-to-day operational genius, resides somewhere else entirely? What if your body has a second brain? And no, it's not hidden in your skull. It's located in a place you might least expect it. Deep inside your gut. We're not talking about a metaphor or a figure of speech. We're talking about a physical, complex, and surprisingly autonomous network of neurons. Scientists call it the enteric nervous system, or the ENS. This isn't just a small bundle of nerves, it's a sprawling, intricate web containing over 100 million neurons. To put that into perspective, that's more neurons than you have in your entire spinal cord or your peripheral nervous system. It's a brain in its own right, lining the 30-foot-long tube of our digestive tract, from the esophagus all the way down to the exit. It's so complex and independent that scientists have nicknamed it the second brain. And this second brain does far more than just manage digestion. It thinks, it remembers, and it even decides things, often without ever consulting the brain in your head. Think about the last time you felt butterflies in your stomach before a big presentation. That wasn't your head sending a memo down to your gut. That was your gut's nervous system reacting directly to stress, flooding itself with the very same neurotransmitters that your brain uses. This second brain is constantly making decisions. It decides which nutrients to absorb, how to move food along, and when to trigger an immune response against an invader. It learns from past experiences, remembering foods that cause trouble and adjusting its strategy accordingly. It operates with a stunning degree of autonomy, a silent partner managing a critical part of your existence without you ever having to consciously think about it. For the longest time, the prevailing view in medicine and neuroscience was strictly top-down. Scientists thought our brain was the sole command center of everything. The gut was seen as a simple, passive tube, a piece of plumbing that just followed orders sent from the cranial CEO. Any feelings or sensations from the gut were dismissed as simple reflexes or secondary effects of brain activity. The communication was believed to be a one-way street, from the brain down to the rest of the body. The idea that the gut could talk back, let alone have a mind of its own, was relegated to the fringes of scientific thought. It was a fascinating, but ultimately dismissed hypothesis. But today, a revolutionary shift is underway. We now know there's another brain quietly and powerfully influencing the show. The communication between our two brains isn't a monologue, it's a constant dynamic dialogue. The gut-brain axis, as it's called, is a superhighway of information, with the vast majority of traffic, some estimate up to 90%, flowing not from the brain to the gut, but from the gut to the brain. This second brain, through a complex network of nerves, hormones, and immune system signals, might actually control how you feel, how you think, and how you live. Emerging research is linking the health of our gut to everything from our mood and anxiety levels to our cognitive function and even our risk for neurodegenerative diseases. The ancient intuition that told us to trust our gut is now being validated by modern science, revealing a connection far deeper and more profound than we ever imagined. I'm Carl, and in this documentary we're going on a journey deep inside ourselves. We'll explore the science behind this incredible second brain. We'll talk to the leading researchers who are decoding its language, and we'll look at the profound implications this has for our health and well-being. Forget what you thought you knew about where your mind resides. Today we'll uncover the astonishing evidence suggesting that your gut might just be your real mind. We call it the enteric nervous system, a vast network of over 500 million neurons that wraps around your intestines. That's more neurons than in the spinal cord. These neurons talk to your main brain through a superhighway, the vagus nerve. Every second your gut sends messages to your brain about hunger, mood, even fear. When you feel butterflies before an exam, or a gut punch when you're anxious, that's not imagination. That's your second brain reacting first. To truly understand the profound connection between what you feel in your mind and what you feel in your stomach, we need to travel back to 1996. It was a landmark year in medical science, a time when a discovery was made that would forever change our understanding of the human body. For decades, the prevailing wisdom was simple. The brain was the command center, the undisputed ruler of the body. Every other organ, including the vast and complex digestive system, was thought to be a mere subordinate, taking direct orders from the central nervous system. The gut was seen as little more than a passive plumbing system, a long tube responsible for processing food and nothing more. But a team of pioneering scientists, led by Dr. Michael Gershon at Columbia University, challenged this dogma. They conducted a series of experiments that seemed, at first, to defy logic. They took sections of the intestine and kept them alive in a nutrient-rich solution, completely isolated from the body, and crucially, completely severed from the brain and spinal cord. The expectation was that without the brain's commands, this tissue would be inert, lifeless. What they observed was nothing short of revolutionary. Even with all the nerve connections between the brain and gut completely cut, the intestines continued to operate, and not just twitching randomly, but functioning with purpose and coordination. They could still perform their complex, life-sustaining dance of digestion perfectly. The rhythmic muscular contractions known as peristalsis, which push food along the digestive tract, continued like a steady, self-sufficient wave. The gut lining continued to secrete the precise enzymes needed to break down food and absorb nutrients. It was a ghost in the machine, an organ that refused to be just an organ. It was thinking for itself. This groundbreaking discovery gave birth to a new field of study called neurogastroenterology and earned the gut a new, evocative nickname, the second brain. This isn't just a catchy metaphor. The gut is, quite literally, a second brain. Embedded within the walls of our digestive system is a vast and intricate network of neurons called the enteric nervous system, or ENS. This network is so extensive that it contains over 100 million nerve cells, more than are found in our entire spinal cord or the peripheral nervous system. This brain in your gut doesn't ponder philosophy or compose music, but it possesses a remarkable degree of independent intelligence. It can learn, remember, and make decisions about our digestive well-being without any input from the brain in our head. Think about the last time you had food poisoning. Your gut didn't need to send a detailed report to your brain, wait for an analysis, and then receive instructions. The ENS detected the toxin, identified it as a threat, and initiated a rapid, powerful, and unfortunately memorable evacuation protocol, all on its own. That's independent intelligence in action. It learns from these encounters, becoming more adept at identifying threats and protecting the body in the future. It's a sophisticated surveillance and defense system operating 24/7, right in your belly. So, how does this second brain think and communicate? The answer lies in a shared chemical language. The ENS produces and utilizes more than 30 different neurotransmitters. These are the very same chemical messengers that the brain uses to regulate our mood, memory, and basic cognitive functions. Let's look at the big three. There's dopamine, the molecule of motivation and reward. In the brain, it drives us to seek pleasure and achieve goals. In the gut, it plays a crucial role in coordinating muscle contractions for digestion and helps protect the delicate lining of our intestines. Then there's GABA, the brain's primary calming agent. It acts like a brake pedal on the nervous system, reducing anxiety and promoting relaxation. Down in the gut, GABA performs a similar function, helping to control inflammation, manage pain signals, and maintain a calm, balanced environment. And then there is the superstar of the gut-brain connection, serotonin. In our minds, we associate serotonin with feelings of well-being, contentment, and happiness. It's often called the happiness hormone. But here is a fact that shocks most people when they first hear it. Around 90% of your body's total serotonin is produced not in your brain, but in your gut. This production isn't handled by neurons, but by a special type of cell in the gut lining, called enterochromaffin cells, or EC cells. These cells act as sensory transducers, tasting the contents of your gut, and in response, releasing serotonin. In the gut, this serotonin acts as a critical signaling molecule. It initiates the rhythmic squeezing of peristalsis to move food along, and it signals pain or irritation if something is wrong. But this gut-derived serotonin doesn't stay in the gut. While it can't cross the blood-brain barrier directly, it influences the brain profoundly through the vagus nerve. the superhighway of information connecting our two brains. The gut essentially sends mood reports to the brain, influencing everything from anxiety levels to our overall sense of happiness. This brings us to the heart of the matter. Because the gut is a major chemical factory for mood-regulating compounds, its state is directly linked to our mental state. When your gut is out of balance, whether from stress, poor diet, or inflammation, serotonin production can be disrupted. This sends distress signals up to the brain. This is why that gut feeling is more than just a metaphor. It's a real physiological event. It's why public speaking can give you butterflies, or why a stressful week at work can lead to an upset stomach. The communication is a two-way street. Stress from the brain can disrupt the gut, and distress in the gut can create stress in the brain. So when your stomach feels off, your emotions often follow. That's why chronic stress, persistent anxiety, and even the heavy fog of depression can often begin or be significantly worsened by what's happening inside your belly. The health of our first brain is inextricably tied to the health of our second. For centuries, we viewed the brain as the body's undisputed commander-in-chief, a solitary genius issuing orders from its ivory tower in the skull. The gut, in contrast, was seen as a simple utilitarian plumbing system, responsible for the mundane task of processing food. But this picture is profoundly, fundamentally incomplete. We're now discovering a partnership so intimate, so complex, it forces us to rethink the very nature of who we are. This is called the gut-brain axis. A constant, dynamic conversation between your thoughts and your digestion. It's not a one-way street where the brain dictates and the gut obeys. It's a bustling two-way superhighway of information, with traffic flowing in both directions simultaneously. This bi-directional communication network is so sophisticated that it influences not just our hunger or fullness, but our mood, our emotions, our memory, and even our decisions. The feelings we often describe as gut instincts or butterflies in the stomach are not just poetic metaphors. They are the tangible physiological results of this intricate dialogue. Your gut isn't just listening to your brain, it's talking back, and its voice has a profound impact on your mental and emotional landscape. To understand this, we have to journey deep inside the walls of our digestive tract. Embedded within this 9-meter-long tube is a hidden neurological marvel, the enteric nervous system, or ENS. Often called our second brain, the ENS is a sprawling semi-autonomous network of over 500 million neurons. That's more neurons than are found in our entire spinal cord or the peripheral nervous system. This isn't just a relay station, it's a sophisticated processing center in its own right. It has the capacity to remember, learn, and make decisions about digestion independently of the brain. It manages the complex choreography of muscle contractions, enzyme secretions, and blood flow needed to break down our food, all without any conscious input from us. This brain in your gut is the local government, handling the day-to-day operations of the digestive metropolis. So how do these two brains, the one in your head and the one in your gut, actually talk to each other? The primary channel is the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the body. Think of it as a dedicated high-speed fiber optic cable directly connecting the brainstem to the colon. What's truly astonishing is the direction of the information flow. For a long time, scientists assumed it was mostly top-down, with the brain sending signals to control the gut. But recent research has flipped that assumption on its head. It turns out that a staggering 80 to 90% of the nerve fibers in the vagus nerve are dedicated to carrying information the gut, the brain. Your gut is constantly sending a detailed status report upstairs, informing the brain about everything from the nutrient content of your last meal to the level of inflammation in your intestines. But this communication isn't just electrical, it's also profoundly chemical. Imagine sending a text and getting a reply instantly. That's what your neurons are doing, millions of times every second, using chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. And here's the mind-bending part. Many of the same neurotransmitters that govern our mood and emotions in the brain are also produced and used in the gut. Take serotonin, the famous feel-good chemical associated with happiness and well-being. An incredible 95% of your body's serotonin is manufactured not in your brain, but in your gut, by specialized cells in the intestinal lining. This gut-derived serotonin plays a crucial role in regulating digestion, but it also influences mood, sleep, and appetite by signaling the brain through the vagus nerve and other pathways. Your gut is, in essence, a massive chemical factory for your mind, and we haven't even met the most influential residents of the gut yet, the trillions of microorganisms that make up your gut microbiome. This bustling ecosystem of bacteria, viruses, and fungi is a key player in the gut-brain conversation. These microbes are not passive bystanders, they are active participants. They help digest food the body can't, like certain fibers, and in the process, they produce a vast array of bioactive compounds. One of the most important classes of these compounds is short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. When you eat fiber-rich foods like vegetables, fruits, and whole grains, your gut bacteria ferment these fibers and produce SCFAs like butyrate, propionate, and acetate. These molecules are metabolic superstars. They serve as the primary energy source for the cells lining your colon, strengthening the gut barrier. But their influence doesn't stop there. They can enter the bloodstream and travel to the brain, where they can cross the blood-brain barrier and directly influence brain function, reducing inflammation and promoting the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a key molecule for learning and memory. This brings us to a powerful, practical reality. What you eat directly shapes the conversation between your gut and your brain. When you eat junk food for weeks, you're feeding a specific type of bacteria, ones that thrive on sugar and processed fats. These bacteria can produce inflammatory compounds and send distress signals to your brain, which studies from institutions like UCLA have linked to increased anxiety, brain fog, and even depressive symptoms. Your gut bacteria are essentially telling your brain that the environment is hostile and nutrient poor. Conversely, the conversation flows just as strongly from top to bottom. Think about a moment of acute stress, giving a presentation or facing a sudden threat. Your brain initiates the fight-or-flight response, flooding your body with cortisol. This signal travels down the gut-brain axis, altering gut motility, increasing gut permeability, what some call leaky gut, and shifting the balance of your microbiome. But the opposite is also true. When you meditate, practice deep breathing, or simply take a walk in nature, your brain sends calming signals down the vagus nerve. Your gut relaxes, digestion becomes more efficient, and your immune system, 70% of which resides in the gut, improves its function. This might sound spiritual, but it's pure biology. It's the elegant, intricate science of interoception, the brain's perception of the body's internal state. You are a single, integrated system, a finely tuned feedback loop. You are a two-way machine. The brain controls the gut, but the gut also teaches the brain. Understanding this dialogue is the first step toward harnessing it. By nurturing one, you inevitably nurture the other, unlocking a new dimension of control over both your physical and mental well-being. The conversation is happening right now, inside you. The only question is, are you ready to listen? Let's talk science. In 2011, researchers at UCLA transferred gut bacteria from anxious mice into calm mice, and the calm ones became anxious too, just because of gut microbes. That means your mood might be influenced not by what you think, but by what lives inside you. Humans host over 100 trillion microbes in their digestive system. Together they form what scientists now call the microbiome, a living ecosystem that might define who you are. Some scientists even say, your microbiome is more powerful than your DNA. Ever wonder why you crave chocolate when you're sad? It's not your brain asking, it's your gut bacteria demanding sugar. They can manipulate your cravings, your sleep, even your behavior, just to survive. Your gut also talks to your immune system. It decides when to attack and when to relax. That's why 70% of your immune cells live inside your intestines. If this second brain goes wrong, you can develop allergies, depression, or autoimmune diseases. Scientists are building artificial mini-guts in labs, organoids, to study how they think. AI researchers are even trying to simulate gut behavior, feeding algorithms data from the microbiome. The idea is wild. What if we could program bacteria to heal us from inside? Imagine eating a capsule, and your gut reprograms itself to cure anxiety or obesity. We're not far from it. So, the next time your gut tells you something, listen. It's not superstition. It's science. We are more than just brains in a skull. We are ecosystems, two minds living in one body. I'm Carl, and you've been watching Quantum Keys. Remember, the most intelligent part of you might be hidden deep within.